Good morning, everybody, and welcome to our Tech Maximised session. My name is Tom Freer, and today I'm pleased to be here to talk you through some strategies in starting the journey of streamlining business process. Our Tech Maximised sessions are here to provide you, business owners and execs, with some really helpful information around getting the most of technology in your business. So first off, who is Wintech and who am I? So Wintech is a Brisbane-based IT solutions provider, and our mission is to make technology simple, secure and stress-free. We are a cloud specialist covering the entire Microsoft 365 suite, Microsoft Azure, and we work with clients to advise and consult with them around technology, implement the technology solutions, and then provide the ongoing support of those solutions. I founded Wintech 10 years ago, and I've been in the industry for about 25 years and worked with small and mid-sized businesses. We provide our clients with a single point of contact for all their technology needs and to work with them to ensure they are leveraging and getting the true value of technology. So having worked with a lot of businesses and talked with a lot of C-level execs, and continue to talk with a lot of executives and owners each day, some of the key challenges that come up and that are constantly talked about when it comes to business and technology. It's the unpredictability of technology, the stability or instability, costly downtime. It's the ability to manage costs, surprises, unpredictable IT costs, frustrations with the inability to accurately get a budget for technology and IT in your business. The management effort and the requirements for you as owners and your executive team or your team in general to manage IT or manage the partners or manage how it's being deployed. Risk and exposure is a really big concern and a big challenge for businesses. And then we look at and hear a lot about the strategic issues and not being able to leverage technology. So it's the lack of accountability and ownership of problems. It's the lack of being able to optimize systems. There's no vision of where technology can add value in the business. And ultimately you end up with too many platforms and not able to leverage and get the most value out of it. So having worked in this space for a long time now, it's very apparent that the traditional model of IT support is broken. Businesses are not getting any value from a traditional responsive break, fix, manage support. It's the way it's delivered is not adding value, and this is where things need to change. Where we're at today is the cost of entry to business is technology. You have to have technology just to be in business. There's no question around that. It's how you use that technology and how you get the most of that technology that's going to give you the competitive advantage moving forward. So when we're talking with our clients and prospects and businesses, the reality is that all businesses have three core components. Regardless of what industry, regardless of what you're delivering, whether it's a widget, a product, a service, there are three core components to every business. There's the people, so it's those you employ or those that you work with or contract, even including your suppliers and customers. So there's a people element to business. There's your process. Now this is either your manufacturing process, it's how you deliver your professional service, it's how you make your widget. It's about the operational processes within your business. It's about how you pay invoices. It's about how you invoice your clients. So there's always a process aspect to business. And then ultimately there's a technology aspect. Now, technology today is the foundation of every business. The ultimate goal is to align all three of these components. And this is where you're going to get the true edge and the true advantage in your business. Where people, process and technology intersect, that is where some really good things can start to happen. So what are the common things that people are looking for? So the common outcomes that people are looking to get is, and businesses are looking to achieve, is speed and reliability of their systems so that their users have confidence in the platforms that are in place. Your staff, your team, your clients, they want to work on their terms to some extent. We don't work in a 9-to-5 business environment anymore. This is about giving your team flexibility to access the systems that you provide when they want it. which means we're running a 24/7 operation regardless. You want to have confidence as the owner and the business leader that the investment you're making in technology is driving true value throughout the business. You want to be able to better leverage the technology to improve your business outcomes and profitability. You want to ensure that your business data and your client data is secure and protected. You want to have more clarity and confidence around how budgets are structured. And you really, ultimately, what we see is people want to see how technology can align to their business needs and can actually drive and deliver value. Now, all this can be achieved. And the way we work with our clients is around our 4-step process. It's taking clients through a journey of IT. IT and technology is not a one-off implementation. It is a process that needs to evolve and live and be driven throughout the organisation. But at the beginning of all this process is around discovery. You need to understand what it is you've got today, what your systems are, how they're hanging together, what applications you're using, how are things secured. It's understanding and unpacking where things are at today. It's then looking at designing solutions that are going to fit and meet the goals of where you want to go. And those solutions, again, might be point solutions. They might be long-term projects and opportunities there. As a business, we will then work with you to deploy and deploy those solutions and take you over that river. This is where things can get a little tricky and a little shaky. So you're going to need to swim, and we're here to help you get through it. It's about getting through this to that end goal. And once you're at that first goal, that end goal, which is always a revolving process, it's about how we can help you direct and manage that, supporting your team, supporting you, providing guidance and strategy and ongoing assistance. So what we're here for today is to talk about automation. So everything I've said in the beginning of this leads into this conversation, because this is ultimately what businesses are looking to do. Simply put, automation is a way to save time and spend it on something or somewhere more valuable in your business. Getting rid of small, repetitive tasks, helping you optimize processes are going to pave the way for your team to learn new skills and provide more benefit to your business and your customers. People and technology go hand in hand to streamline your process. Automation is not about replacing people. Automation will replace human labour, but it doesn't always mean we're going to be replacing jobs. And this is a big thing to get through, because when people hear the word automation and we see it touted in media and things like that, it can generate some fear, particularly for team members, because they're instantly thinking, if I automate my role or parts of my role, where's my job going to be? Now, unfortunately, there are some instances where this will happen, but ultimately the idea is to redeploy your team to be more effective and redeploy them to be more human. Human can't be changed. The goal is to replace the tasks so people can focus on more important aspects of your business and be creative like only humans can. Machines are not creative. People are creative. Now, when you can free up your team from menial tasks that are repetitive and consistent to focus on either better engagement internally in your business, better engagement with your clients, your suppliers, you will start to see the results. Automation is about optimizing your workflow. It's about streamlining. It's about delivering consistency in your output. And ultimately, it's going to help your team learn new skills, and it's going to create more tasks for them to master in different ways that are going to benefit your business, your clients, and everyone. So intelligent automation is about bringing together processes, bringing together tools and technology and people so we can amplify the ability to automate work and support people within the business. Automation, intelligent automation, workflow optimization is about supporting your team to do more with less. If you can deliver more products or more service without more people, you're going to immediately increase profit to your business. And you will also see improvements to the way your services are delivered to clients, or your products are delivered, because automation and workflow optimization will drive consistency in outcomes. So where do we start? So how do you improve the efficiencies within your business? Essentially, what we want to do is we're going to take you through a 6-step process, and this is how we work with clients on identifying processes, mapping it out, and then looking at where technology or improvement can be made to the process. So the first thing is to really take an assessment. You have to assess where you're at today, and you also have to assess where you want to be. So this assessment is about not only the processes in your business. I've just lost my lights, so that's always handy. So it's not always about the process. You've got to start by understanding what it is you've got, what technology you have in your environment, what platforms you're using, what systems you're using. Identify all that, how it all works together today. Then identify where you want to be and where some of the pain points are. We want to identify the key functions and highlight the 3 most frustrating. So this is where you will sit down. You will know a lot of this yourself when you start thinking about it, but sit down with your team and start nutting out what are all the processes in our business? What are the things that we do? How do we get from A to B? What do we do? Which ones are frustrating us the most? Which ones are causing problems in the business? Which ones aren't giving us the results that we'd like to see or the consistency we'd like to see? From there, you want to pick those processes and grab one and document it end to end. Draw it up, map it out, who is doing what function, what forms are being used, where's paper being moved to, what systems are being touched on, what data is getting entered into where. Map it out to show where it is all happening today. We're not about changing it at this point. It's about understanding where it is today. You need to understand in detail of what that process looks like, or if there's no defined process, what are you actually doing today to deliver that outcome? You need to map that out because you're always doing something. Now, it might be in your head, it might be in your team's head, it might be in multiple people's head that they only do bits of it. You need to map it all out and get a really clear picture of what it looks like. From there, really start to drill down and focus on what's working within that process, what doesn't work, what's causing problems, what's causing frustration, and then refine the existing process. We're not changing or introducing any technology at this point. What we want to do here is get a process refined so it's working as effectively as possible today without doing anything significant. And this might be literally writing it down so people are doing the same things all the time. It might be adding another form. It might be removing a form. It might be removing a double entry point. The purpose of this step is to really refine and get a good, solid process that's adding more value to the business than it was yesterday. It's at this point where you can start to look at where technology can help. Start to go deeper into that process, aligning it with what systems you have today, what tools you have at your disposal. What can we use to make this process more efficient? And it might be taking a manual form and making it electronic, making that form an electronic form that can go through and be approved and then released. It might be a documentation process where you create a standard operating procedure. It needs to be reviewed, create the document, assign it into a workflow so you can track where it's at, who's doing what. The more you can see, the more you can track. If you're shuffling paper to different people, you're going to lose track very quickly and you end up losing lots of time and efficiency. So this is where we start to look at where can technology help. Once we've identified where the technology can help, let's start to design that solution specifically. Let's pull out the bits. Let's look at what that needs to do from a technology perspective. Look at what can we use today within the business. Chances are lots of businesses have these tools at their disposal. They just don't know about them. I use Office 365 as an example all the time. You're paying for a subscription and you're probably not using a lot of the functionality in there that can drive a lot of this for you. And that's a really great starting point. So design it, implement it, test it, refine it. Then you go through other processes and start doing that. Once you've started using them more electronically, you can then start to see where you can enhance those going forward to the point where some of those processes could be automated. You could have bots and tools and sitting there literally grabbing data and entering into systems. But you can't do that until you know what your process is, how it currently works, and what outputs you need to do. You can't automate a bad process. If you're getting an inconsistent result in your process today, or you're getting not the right results in your process today, automating that is only going to amplify the problems you've got. You need to define and get that process working as efficiently as possible before you start looking at automating it. So how do you do this? Well, you don't actually need anything out of the ordinary to start this process. You should get your team into a room and literally just start writing it out on a whiteboard or butcher's paper or something. Map it out, draw, scribble, scratch, color code, whatever you want, just to start to unpack where that looks like in your environment, where that looks like in your business. Once you've started unpacking, sure, you can then start to use some actual tools to make this look better. Bring it into a Visio or a Lucidchart. They're free sort of platforms, Lucidchart's a free workflow and designing platform that you can start to electronically map out these processes so you can start to share it more effectively in the business. Then you can start getting into the technical elements of what data needs to sit in what system and how we're going to move that and what the user sees. Ultimately, all this needs to be done, but you can really start on a whiteboard, map it out where it is today. And once you've got it where it is today, wipe out your whiteboard, map it out where you want it to be. What do you want it to look like? Start drawing and brainstorming these things. So what now? How do you actually go about doing this? Well, start. That is always the biggest thing, is just start now. Go back to your business today and identify one process that's frustrating you, even if it's a small one. Think about it. What is the one thing that is happening? It's a repetitive task that maybe you're doing. It's a repetitive task that you're watching some of your team doing and wondering why that has to happen that way. Don't let it stand. Grab that process, start to unpack it, document it end to end, put it on a whiteboard, put it in a charting tool, map it out so you've got visibility of how that process works today. Then refine the process. Don't worry about trying to change it wholesale. Don't worry about trying to implement technology at this point. Just refine the process you've got today. Improve it where it can be improved. If it can't be, that's fine. Maybe it is what it is, but don't just accept that it's that. There's always a way to improve it. Look at that process and don't accept the question of we've always done it this way. There will always be a way to improve it. You might not improve all of it, but there will be improvements to be had. Then once you've got that process nice and efficient, where can technology help? But firstly, look inside your business. Look at what tools you've already paying for, you've already invested in. Look at what tools you can leverage to start to make that process more effective. And from there, you'll start to get a roll on. This is where we work with clients all the time, and we sit down and we literally look to unpack what is in their mind about how a process works. Let's get the team involved. Let's put it on a whiteboard. Let's then put some structure around it. Why do we do that this way? Ask why. Why do we do it this way? Well, that's the way we've always done it. Well, no. Why do we do it? What is specific about that function or that process or that component of it, of why we do it? Could we do it a different way? Brainstorm, map it out. This is where the ideas will start to flow. Then you can start to leverage the technology piece. Now, as I said, you don't want to automate everything from the start. This is not about going in and replacing people and automating for the sake of automating. You've got to look at it from a perspective of what is going to be the most efficient way to do it, what's going to be the most cost-effective way to do it. We can automate almost any process at a cost, and that's the reality of it. So you want to look at where can you remove friction points, where can you remove frustration, where can you identify repetitive tasks that need a consistent outcome. That's where you want to start using workflow. You want to start using them tools to automate those functions. So if there was a manual process of moving a form from one side of the room to the other, how can we make that electronic? Ones that we see quite commonly and we've done recently is accounts payable processes, invoices coming in, being manually reviewed, being manually entered into a accounting system, having very little approval process, running around invoices, trying to get approval from someone. Look at that process in your business. Could it be as simple as introducing a purchase order function? Create a purchase order. Now we can create a process around that purchase order. So a purchase order is only created once it's approved. Then you at least have a little bit more confidence that when an invoice comes in and it's got a purchase order number, that there's a function that you can check off against. Was that purchase order raised? Was there an approval against it? Right, we may have just saved a lot of time in that business from someone receiving an invoice, sending an email to all staff or putting it in someone's tray, someone having to manually look at it. Implement those little things. We haven't really changed much process or technology around that, but we can take those processes to a point where, and we are seeing this done, where invoices could be pulled out of a mailbox by a bot, they can be reviewed, they can be looked at, the keywords can be pulled out, they can then be entered directly into your accounting system, coded to the right areas. And then if there's an exception or a discrepancy because it's not matching a purchase order, then it will flag it for someone to action. But anything else that matches is going to go through. So we can see how you can start to really refine these processes and start to introduce technology to make them more effective. There is always some way you can do it. So thank you for joining today. I hope you got some value out of this. If you've got any other questions or you want to ask something about process improvement or automation, or get a better understanding of what we've gone through today, please feel free to reach out. There's my email address. You can follow me on LinkedIn or Facebook. I've also got a podcast that might be of interest. There's some great topics in there, and we've done some great conversations around automation with some special guests. So feel free to reach out. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you again soon.